Hello everyone and welcome to another match in the Intellect 3 Masters Season 2 Finals. It's another match in the group stage and it is a Night Elf versus Undead matchup with the red Night Elf player spawning in the top left corner being HoT, the Ukrainian, and he starts with an Ancient of War here. So by the looks of it, we're gonna see a Tavern Hero build by the Night Elf, and his opponent in yellow at the bottom left spawn position is the German undead player Protois, who starts with Crypt Altar and Ziggurat, so most likely a lot of ghouls by him early on. And both of these players have played 2 matches in these finals prior to this one, with each having 1 victory and 1 defeat. Protois was able to beat HoT but lost against Lin, and HoT, on the other hand, was able to beat Lin but lost against Grubby. So of course both of the players still very much in this tournament, but neither one really in a position to be able to easily afford a loss in this best of 3. Guess the altar is going to be put into production here any second now by HoT. And yeah, given that this is Night Elf versus Undead on Turtle Rock, I guess the most common hero choice, at least when it comes to Tavern Heroes, is the Beastmaster here for HoT, with a bit of an off chance perhaps for a Dark Ranger first. But the issue with the Dark Ranger here is that with the way Dark Ranger first usually is played, or used to be played against Undead, since it's not really played anymore at all, is that there are many creep camps here on Turtle Rock, such as this one, with only few very tanky creeps, and that makes it difficult to gather a sufficient number of skeletons early on. Coupled with the fact that the expansions, both the naturals and the spawn positions, are rather difficult to creep, and that there are no mercenaries, the usual, large forces that come along with the Dark Ranger first, and the quick expansion that is being played with those big forces early on is basically very, very difficult to pull off on Turtle Rock. So that's why usually the Dark Ranger isn't really the particularly greatest choice here. And yeah, we're seeing the Beastmaster out of HoT, which was the expected choice here. Protois with a bunch of ghouls, as we can see, no graveyard whatsoever. Death Knight has already skilled here, and we're not seeing Aura first, so this is going to be some coil action. We'll see if he's going to go for some skeleton, for some wisp hunting, or if he's going to save the coils for some perhaps more valuable targets. Beastmaster is now arriving. First Cool Beast has been spawned already. There is only 2 Moongulls here out of HoT, who apparently is going to go ahead and start his tech any second now. Protois, on the other hand, with about 400 lumber, certainly didn't start his tech yet, and is going to be getting there somewhat later. As we can see, the Night Elf has just started his tech here. Death Knight still roaming around, trying to steal something. The hatchling is not going to be dead. Perhaps the Cool Beast is going to go to the Death Knight, but HoT is reacting nicely here, sending that to the left-hand side of this creep camp, making it difficult for the DK to actually get the steal there. So that's not happening. The ghouls in the meantime start creeping. Tech of Protois has just started now, so he is behind by quite a bit. HoT basically teching as quickly as he can, given the build he's playing here, whereas Protois is really investing a lot into these ghouls here early on, and it looks like he's going to be heading across the map with those right now, and he's going to have to make this aggression really worthwhile to justify the delay of his tech here. Of course, the Night Elf would love to just be creeping in peace for a little bit, but Protois not willing to let that happen. The skeletons are running away from the wisp here, and looks like Protois doesn't want to give any easy XP to his opponent, who, as I just said, would love to just do some creeping in peace and perhaps start engaging later on. Wisps are being split here a little bit. It looks like HoT either didn't react properly or just didn't want to detonate here, as the skeletons were split quite far apart. Now the detonate did come in on 2 of the skeletons. The archers here in a bit of an awkward position. Ghouls are streaming in from all sides. There are 2 more coils on this DK. The archers so far still have had some Moonshrews to work with, but these 2 Moonbars in the middle are empty now already, and the third one is going to be depleted any second now as well. Ancient of War has to uproot to make some space for the archers to retreat out of their own base, but that's not really where they want to be positioned. The last coil of the DK just being spent here as he's reaching 75 mana again, and thus far no ghoul of the undead has fallen, where as far as I can tell 2 archers of HoT have fallen. And even if Protois falls back here entirely, which I'm not really sure if he has to, but even if, then the creeping of HoT is going to be significantly slowed down. Let's take a quick look at the base. Tier 2 is soon to finish. There is a graveyard, but there is no second crypt just yet. So it appears that we're not going to see gargoyles out of Protois on this first map. Whereas on the side of HoT, Hunter's Hall finished, Tier 2 finished. I guess the Panda will be picked up here soon. Death Knight is still running around a little bit. And the ghouls, together with the one skeleton here, will continue creeping, will provide a level 2 for him. So he continues making some use out of those. And yeah, there's definitely not going to be any gargoyles. And wow, HoT really taking a risky creep camp here. The Death Knight is coming in, and it looks like he's going to go ahead and try and cancel these laws. At least with the skeletons here. That he's... Okay, never mind. Well, with the skeletons, I guess he could have easily cancelled Ancient of Lore, but HoT is reacting immediately. He knows that it's extremely important that these lores come up. And at the same time, wow, he's almost losing the Beastmaster here. 30 HP, 18 HP on the Beastmaster, finding the great heal potion. Certainly quite lucky. The Death Knight is coming in from the bottom, but the Beastmaster will already be gone by the time the undead hero arrives. But at the same time, the Naga is also coming in. Let's see if he's gonna go for a hero kill or just for some archers. Looks like he's gonna be satisfied with picking off an archer or two. The first one is about to fall. The second one, well, is hiding here, but the Death Knight bought dust in the beginning, so he's gonna be coming in and using that. The archer is trying to outrun him. And is he actually getting away? The Death Knight has another coil. Is there a staff? No, there's no staff just yet. Coil is coming in, wow, just as the archer was hiding here. But honestly, it looks like HoT did just get away with murder here, taking an insanely risky creep camp and not being punished for it at all. I mean, okay, he lost 2 archers, but that was certainly worth it. Whereas, well, Protois didn't get as much done. His first Fiend is on the field, the second Fiend is coming, Slaughterhouse is coming. Another Ziggurat as well. Looks like we're gonna perhaps see a quick tier 3 timing here by him with a Lich third and an Orb of Corruption. And how well is the Night Elf gonna be able to deal with that? Shop is coming. A lot of Dryads here. No tier 3 tech by HoT, at least not just yet. And well, a level 2 Panda and a level 1.5, a level 1.5 Panda and a level 2 Beastmaster aren't going to be able to deal with that. The Night Elf, in this particular case, is the one who needs to get some creeping done. But, okay, he is... It looks like he's just gonna go for mass Dryads here, perhaps. Staying on tier 2, getting the expansion. And just hoping to outmass his opponent. I'm not sure if HoT at this point is even aware that he's not gonna face any gargoyles. Probably he is. I mean, he didn't scout. There's no second crypt. But I guess if there were gargoyles, then the first ones would be on the field already. And now with the fiends being revealed, he's definitely aware that there won't be gargoyles. So a lot of ghouls coming in. No frenzy just yet. I'm not sure if this is the best time to fight already for Protois here. But he's going to go for the fight nevertheless. The first archer has fallen here. The first ghoul actually surviving. Breath of Fire is coming in. 2 of the Dryads are a bit low as well. There's still a big heal potion on the Beastmaster here. So I guess there's going to be a lot of tanking capability on those 2 Night Elf heroes. No staff just yet. Keep that in mind though. He's just used. The Beastmaster is going to have to use his potion right now, and he does so. Not really risking all too much there. Coil on one of the fiends. One of the Dryads is falling as well. But look at the corpses here. The majority of units fallen thus far are the ghouls of Protois. Just as I say that, another one of the Dryads is falling, and the Beastmaster is in some trouble here. Is he going to be able to force a Town Portal here with the Naga and the 2 ghouls and the Death Knight? Well, if he is, then not before the second Fiend is falling here on the side of Protois, who's trying to go for the Beastmaster. The Naga is a bit awkwardly positioned. There is no more coil, and therefore the Beastmaster is even going to be able to get away. In the meantime, the Tree of Life is about to finish, and I don't see the Night Elf having the capability, the Undead having the capability to stop that. In the meantime, the Beastmaster just sold the Town Portal for 2 heal potions, using one immediately, and yeah, using the second one probably as soon as he can. Just trying to stay in this fight, trying to, you know, keep the Undead away from his expansion. By the way, the Undead in the meantime has his Lich out. Orb of Corruption has been bought, and the Lich is making his way across the map. The next Fiend is gonna fall though, and all of a sudden there's only 2 heroes and a statue, soon to be 3 heroes and a statue on the field for Protois. The Beastmaster is coming back in here quite suicidally. There is still a potion, keep that in mind, but I'm not sure about the cooldown. Okay, it looks like the cooldown is over. Fog Lightning coming in by the Naga, and the Lich is arriving here as well, so the Beastmaster is gonna have to stay careful, but a lot of Dryads, well, more and more Dryads are gonna make life difficult for the Undead. But is the Beastmaster falling here? Yes, and Town Portal had to be passed on to the Naga in the meantime, but big hero kill there in the end of the fight for the Undead. Nevertheless, the expansion is about to start running, and the number of Dryads is going to be skyrocketing here. Still tier 2, and I don't think HoT has any intention of changing that fact anytime soon. There are no upgrades on the Dryads just yet. Excuse me. But the numbers are what's gonna be making things, well, making life difficult for the German. 3-1 heroes here for Protois against still only 2-2 for HoT. So if these heroes can carry, then Protois still has a shot here, but the clock is ticking against him, and a large number of Dryads is coming in. But is this the best choice here to fight already without the Beastmaster? We'll find out. First Dryad is falling, the second Dryad is taking some heat, but is surviving for the time being. Invo Potion had to be used already by the Naga. The Fiend had to be borrowed here. Dust bought though, and looks like this Fiend is going to be picked off shortly. And yet still, the trade here, okay, the Naga is about to fall. I was just about to say, the trade here doesn't seem to favor HoT all too much, but just as I said that, he's getting one of the heroes of his opponent killed. The Panda has reached level 3, but still, it is actually HoT who has to retreat, and I think, despite killing the Naga here, that was a bit of an over-eager engagement. With this number of Dryads, he could have just gone ahead and, you know, creep another big camp on his own. Okay, the Ancient of War here is, I guess, not going to be contributing to the game all too much, and I think this kind of gives Protois some more chances here. He's also got no upgrades just yet, but he's just trading decently. He's, you know, on almost equal footing here, supply-wise, and his level advantage is, you know, not gonna decrease here. Level 3 on the Beastmaster soon now as well. Protois in the meantime, what's he doing? More Fiends, just getting his Naga back. He's got the 3-2-2 here. Looks like he might be creeping another camp, or is he? Okay, the statues apparently also convinced right now to do a bit more creeping, to wait for the Naga to come back, which of course makes sense. Also, big heal potion is definitely gonna be helping. Naga is back right now. Is he? Okay, would have expected him to perhaps grab a heal scroll here before heading out onto the map again. That's not gonna be happening. He's gonna get level 4 on the DK here. Lich soon to be level 3, and a Wand of Mana Stealing as well. So all the heroes are back on the field. The Beastmaster is just coming from the shop right now though, very much out of position. The first 2 Dryads have already fallen, level 3 on the Lich right now. Wand of Mana Stealing being used against the Panda, and there is no more Breath of Fire available after this one. The first Fiend of Protois is finally falling as well. Once again, a lot of Dryads dying here, but the Fiends, yeah, starting to take some damage as well. The Death Knight is never gonna run out of mana though. Next charge of Wand of Mana is being used here. Another Dryad is falling. The next Fiend is gonna be, well, it's not gonna be falling here just yet. I guess the Greater Mana Potion is gonna have to be used in just a second. But look at the corpses here. The majority of them are Dryads, and there's only one Dryad left standing, and Protois is just taking the much better engagement here, and it's trading very much favorably. Panda has now no more items, and there is no Town Portal still on the Night Elf, and yeah, Nova strikes down the Panda, and the Beastmaster might be next. The Naga is having a lot of slow available here, and yeah, Coil Nova should really, yeah, be enough to seal the deal on this Beastmaster, and both of the Night Elf heroes have fallen here. Wow, HoT. Really overly aggressive with his mass Dryad army. Okay, he wanted to get a creep check in, but the Beastmaster was totally out of position, shopping down here still, and yeah, not having the summons around there, just rushing in with the Dryads cost him. He is at 47 supply right now against 50. I mean, okay, those are some almost equal numbers, but there is a Beastmaster that is on half of his HP, and there's a Panda that is still in the altar, plus a couple of low HP Dryads. And the army of the undead is much better teched, so equal supply is a tremendous disadvantage here for HoT, and therefore he is not able to take this fight. He's trying to, but look at how quickly these Dryads are falling. 1-0 attack upgrades on the Fiends in the meantime as well, against no upgrades on the Dryads here. Okay, some more detonates. Lich has about 1 Fork Lightning here. Death Knight has about 1 coil. The Lich, well, about 0 mana, but there's Dark Ritual. And yeah, the Tree of Life has gone down, so we are at equal terms right now in terms of economy. But tier 3 undead against tier 2 Night Elf with superior undead heroes. And he's gonna go straight ahead and creep the red camp. If allowed to, but I don't see any chance for HoT to actually get the overload here. Coil easily secures the kill. Hood of Cunning for Protois. I guess Rune of Healing is gonna be used by HoT here any second now. And he's gonna be the one forced to run away. First Abomination on the side of Protois available as well. And his nuke is extremely strong now. Death Knight soon to be level 5. And Naga and Lich already level 3. Drunken Haze Breath of Fire is coming in, doing a good job here. There is no heal scroll actually on the side of the undead, but I mean with the statues he can at least to an extent negate the damage of the Breath of Fire here as well. Now the Dryad is falling, another Dryad is falling, coil onto the Lich in time. And he's just yeah, taking his time here, more or less picking off Dryad after Dryad. Next one has fallen, level 4 on the Lich, and the Night Elf is forced to retreat to his base. But there isn't really a lot of moon juice here. Okay, there's the shop, but other than that, and the shop is only gonna last for so long. But aside from that, there's not too much of a defender's advantage here. The shop is about to fall, Breath of Fire is doing a ton of damage here, but the heal scroll has been purchased by the Death Knight in the meantime and just used. Coil onto one of the Fiends, Nova onto the Beastmaster, who's gonna have to run. Focus Fire is being switched to the Panda right now, who's using a mana potion here, maybe getting a kill on another Fiend, but he's gonna be falling as well, and without the Breath of Fire, the majority of the Night Elf's damage output is also gone. The Beastmaster is gonna fall next, and GG by HoT. The early game was really promising for Protois, but I think the fight he took at, well, during the time when HoT's expansion was coming up really opened up a great opportunity for HoT to, you know, benefit from this expansion, to really start massing Dryads and make life difficult for Protois. And then I think the 2 fights happened in which HoT just was very over-ambitious. The first one at the Goblin Merchant between the 2 players when the Beastmaster was still down and HoT was just starting to mass Dryads. I mean, granted he killed the Naga and like 2 Fiends or so, but he lost basically almost all of his Dryads in return, and that was, well, not even an even trade for HoT. Pretty sure, pretty unfavorable trade for him. And the second fight, even worse, the one where Protois was creeping on the left-hand side and HoT was having his Beastmaster shopping, was having his Dryads stretched out a little bit, and he was just running in, trying to get some damage in while the creeps were still alive. But it turned out that Protois was just, yeah, too strongly positioned, being able to pick off Dryad after Dryad, and in the end killing both of the Night Elf heroes, having just too much of an advantage at that point and finishing the game afterwards. So Protois is up 1-0, and the map after this one is going to be Twisted Meadows.